recipe. Hi guys, this is Shiru from the family kitchen. Today I have a recipe of doing the tacos. For this recipe, I'll walk you through the ingredients of what you need. On my wooden table, they're already prepared, but I'm gonna walk you through what you need. On my table, I have my green pepper, I have my tomatoes, I have my ginger, and I have my garlic, and I have my this is my white shallot. In other words, that's a white onion. This is my vegetable oil, and this my agglomero recipe. Remember we did agglomero recipe already. And these are my tortilla bread. We're gonna do a separate video of doing the tortilla bread. And this is my cheese, which will be the topping of my taco. I have my grounded beef, which is already prepared and very well washed. On the side, you can notice I have my frozen piece with some carrots. And this is my spatula, and I'm gonna add a little bit of salt if needed, but most of the time I just let it be. So on my stove, you can notice I have my pot ready on the kitchen, and what I need, we have to make a stew. For this stew, I'll add on my pot, I'm gonna add some vegetable oil. So you can see me adding the vegetable oil. So I'll let my vegetable stuff to be the first thing to go on that pot. So we're gonna let the oil to have some bubbles. As you can see, this is the vegetable oil, and I think it's ready for me to add up my vegetable stuff in. As you can see, I'll add all of them together. That's what you expect to hear for these vegetables to go in. I'll let them cook until they become like translucent. That's when I'm gonna add my browning beef. So, because the tacos need a stew. For agglomero recipe, it's gonna be the topping. So you don't need to add it when you're doing the stew. It's gonna just be the topping. So as you can see, that's what you expect to hear. And I'll let this cook until they become translucent. And that's when I'm gonna add my beef. For the frozen things, I don't need to boil, because most of the people might think like I need to boil the piece before I cook them, but I don't need to. I don't let the nutrients like go away, like being the water and all that. So my next ingredient to go in after this kind of develop a little bit of color, this is what I'm gonna do. As you can notice, I'm let it cook until it develops a little bit of it's just like translucent. So I'll let you know when it's ready. For now, we're gonna be preparing the bread and making sure. So for the vegetable oil, that's already done. We're gonna now, I'm gonna show you how the bread look. This is the bread. You can make this with chapati and make it your bread. If you're that kind of a person who like baking, you can make chapatis and make a stew and make them your tacos. So it doesn't mean like you have to have exactly the tortilla bread. So what you need, you can make a chapati and add all this stew on it and let it cook and come up with tacos. So tortilla is something which you don't really need, but I'm using it because I don't have any chapatis with me. So I already purchased these tortillas in a store. You can tell these are kind of this chapati, isn't it? This chapati, if you cook and don't put any oil on your chapatis, let it be like this, and then you're gonna add your stew on top of it and just put, as you can notice, all my green stuff are like kind of translucent. We don't let them overcook to produce a juice. So we're gonna go in is my grounded beef. So go in, kind of having a little bit of water because these things are always so frozen. So when you take it from the paper, they're kind of frozen. So for the beef, you're gonna really like turn brown kind, and that's when you're gonna add your piece, and you're still gonna be ready. This is something which doesn't take a lot of time, but because I want you to see each and every step of what I'm doing, that's why I'm doing so fast, because I don't want to take a lot of your time watching this video. So we're gonna let it develop like a brown color. That's when we're gonna add our frozen piece, and we're gonna be ready to make our tacos. And I'm gonna let you know, if you're gonna go to like Taco Bell, this is what they do. They're gonna charge you like $10 for for they're like 2 for 6 or 4 for $10. If you do this couple of this, you're gonna make a lot of money. I don't wanna like keep on converting money of how much you can make from it. So this is a recipe. I'll be preparing my cheese. This is the cheese. I already sit on a side so you can see how the cheese look like. So if you go to the store, these are things we got at home, isn't it? That's the cheese. So the only thing we need is to add the piece and let it like sit for 5-10 minutes, and we're gonna be ready to make our taco. That's it. And the topping gonna be our grandmother recipe, because most of the people that like doing this recipe in a separate video, it wasn't that important. And I did talk about the grandmother recipe doing the sandwiches, and you can still serve it with some nachos or some chips. So this grandmother recipe has a lot to do. So you can be making some chips and make this your side dish, and let people try the chips with some grandmother recipe. This is gonna make you like get a lot of money. And when you make the nachos with the grandmother recipe, try to add some cheese on them and let them look so colorful. So everything gonna be looking super good. So that's it. There is nothing else you need. So we're gonna let the our beef, our stew, to develop a little bit of color, and then we're gonna add our piece. So it doesn't go like, if you have the grounded meat, that's it. If you don't have the piece, that's it. You can work it out with some grandmother recipe and some chapatis and some cheese, and that's it. And the stew, and brand it as your tacos. So it doesn't mean like if you don't have something, you can't do it. As you can tell, this is the grounded meat. I know the smoke can't let you see through this, but I believe I'm gonna buy a part which you can see through. This is what you expect. It's developing a little bit of color. The advantage of having all these frozen things, because that's how you get them. There is no way you can get them dry, but how you can get them dry? So you don't need to boil them, because you don't need to overcook the piece. So this baby is gonna go in this pot. As you can tell, there is something changing. This is a very nice stew, and I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. So I'll add a pinch of salt on my stew, because I don't want to do a lot of seasoning. The seasoning, and I use the word seasoning, means like I don't want to put any spice, because this food is not just it's not just me who is eating this food. So if I'm selling out to my customers and I want them to come back, I'll be adding a lot of spices, like paprika, cayenne, any kind of a spice which you might have, some royco, some beef, any can do. So you can see the last step to make the stew is to add my piece. Let these babies goes in there. have some carrots left in. That's the final step to make the stew. The only thing remaining is to make sure everything combines. As you can see. What if you go out there and make all this for people? What do you think? Don't overbe cooking the how you call this piece, because definitely this is gonna taste very nasty. So for the grounded meat, you don't let it overcook and put a lot of water on it, because it's gonna just like be on top of the water, and you're gonna try to sieve it to set it out, and that ain't gonna work. So as you can see, this is my stew to do the tacos. Because I'm taking a lot of time, I'll just go to the last step as I wait for the extra taco, just for a demonstration what you expect, not to take a lot of time. So next, the only thing now I need is to take my taco bread, one of my taco bread. I'll add my stew. I'll add my stew on top of the taco. Not just a tiny wow. Can you imagine if you make this kind of a stew, how much you can make? Just look. I'll just bring it closer to you. This is the taco. This is the taco we are talking about. This is the baby we are talking about. I'm gonna just try to sieve the water so the bread doesn't get wet, because this is just a demonstration, not to take a lot of time. So that's the taco we are talking about. Just imagine. Money making. And on top of it, I'll add my agglomerator recipe. Just look. This is how the agglomerator recipe works. You're gonna smear on top of it, but you're gonna use a fork anyways to make it flat, and to make it not to just anything to fry out. My last step is to add my cheese. Look at that, baby. Look at that. What do you expect? And then the final step is to fold the taco. You're gonna fold it into two. You can let it be like this. You can let this baby relax like this and pick it up and serve it to people. That's the taco. Let me open it for everybody to see. It's the taco, and there is no way in this world will you ever go in a different place and find something different. What I'm showing you is what they do. So don't expect for something different from this. This is how you make the tacos. So that's the taco. I'm gonna let my stew cook a little bit, because this was just a demonstration, and that's it. So I hope you're gonna try this recipe. And those people who want a job, this is how the job creation starts. Start with the tacos, and definitely that's gonna work out. Make some chapatis, do some stew, do a agglomerator recipe, and that's it. You don't need the cheese, that's for decoration anyway. But if you want to make your customers come back and forth, try to get the cheese and let the top be just look. That's all what you need to make a taco. What can't you do? This is something we have at home, and this is something for our siblings. This is something for our young youths. So if you can't be in the kitchen and do recipes, the name of the recipe is called tacos. Please try these recipes. Thank you so much, and thank you all for watching this Shiru's from the kitchen. As we do more, thank you. Bye bye.